All right, my people, let me say a special, yes, a very special greetings to all of you guys out there, and welcome indeed for the final program for the year 2024. Season greetings to everyone, those of you who believe in the season, those of you recognize the Christmas season, a special greetings to you as well. I also realize that some of you may be in the viewing audience and you may not recognize the season for whatever reason or rationale of yours. I also want to recognize your presence as well. And so thank you very, very much. Tonight is the 20th night of December 2024. And that is where, again, I want to say welcome on board to all of you who are here with me for yet another Saturday, another Saturday live program. Sorry about that, folks. This telephone, someone is needing my attention as I am starting with you guys, but I will call this person right back. Yes, as I was saying, it is the final Saturday in this year, and I always truly appreciate you guys' presence each and every Saturday when yours truly goes live with us. It's a conversation primarily about our country, and so that is how we have been doing it for the past years, and we look forward, all of us look forward, well, I look forward to doing it again with you guys in 2025 and beyond. I want to welcome you guys here this evening, and as we're about to make that all-important start, let me just get into where I may be bringing you guys for that final Saturday in 2024. Those of you already here with me, I'll be touching some of your names in just a while on the live feed, in terms of just, giving you that final touch, as it were, to 2024 indeed. But before I touch some of you by names, let me just say that I'll be giving you guys an idea of an adjustment in time of that program come next Saturday, so you can look forward to that in terms of an announcement / PSA moving forward. I'll also be reviewing, as it were, or recapping 2024 as it relates to that program. And of course, we will be touching on some things, some areas where we can look forward in 2025 as it relates to that all-important Saturday night live program that I dubbed it. I'll also be going across to St. Kitts and Nevis and giving you guys just an update, a sneak peek into these guys' Carnival celebrations. It is on as we speak, and last night they had their Calypso competition. For those of you out there, you know I'm an ardent Calypso fan, and so wherever Calypso is played, be it in Dominica or wherever it is, I will be tuned in once I have that time on my hand. And I had the time to listen to some of the songs last night, and so I'll be giving you an idea who won that crown, that coveted crown in St. Kitts and Nevis, and also will be playing you a very popular number that resonated with yours truly in that competition last night. So you can stay in tune for that. I'll be giving you that as I wind down the curtains on things here tonight. So please, if you want to hear that big song from St. Kitts and Nevis, you want to be in tune and you want to stay till the end of tonight's program. Also, folks, in terms of a national issue, I heard my brother Naren Murthy, trendsetter in the Calypso arena, talking about Calypso. He came live on social media and he had an issue about some GoFundMe and accountability. If you guys know me very well, I like to get the details before I bring things to you. So I will let you hear Naren Murphy tonight and his issue, And also, yes, I'll be putting my beat on Narins Murphy's words, and he asking for accountability in terms of a situation that is ongoing as we speak, where a young boy, Mackay Bellot, I believe is his name, got burnt, and he is, as we speak, I believe is in France undergoing medical treatment, third degree burns. So you can stay in tune for Narin's piece and my echoing of that in terms of the accountability that this brother, this social media influencer, I call him Nari Murthy, is asking for that situation. Also, folks, we will be looking at 2025. Yes, 2025 seems to be a very promising year, a very optimistic year, and that is how I would want to usher us into 2025 indeed. I know 2024 had its many challenges, but 2025 looks promising, and so I want to give us some pointers as we look forward to 2025 and beyond indeed. Also, I will be touching on a situation where we have had two types of governments in Dominica. The Labour Party, or what passes for the Labour Party in Dominica, and also not going back too far back, the United Workers' Party government, headed by Edison Chansfield James. I know Eugenia Charles and the previous Labour Party, they did their bit in terms of empowerment, but just in taking into consideration time constraint tonight, I'll be looking at the now, what people call the Labour Party, and also the United Workers' Party government. And I'll be touching on at least two scenarios whereby I dub this segment the empowering or an empowering government, and another type of government in terms of leaving its people poor. You be the judge. I just bring the facts in a very unadulterated fashion. All right? Finally, in terms of bringing the curtains down tonight, I'll be giving you an idea just who will be gracing us with the presence tomorrow on the Civic Vibes program. That is none other than a brother who lives in Canada, but his name is Mr. Akil Jabari. Yes, you heard me right. Akil Jabari. The little discussion that this brother and I had, I can tell you, you guys will be in tune for a very inspiring / motivating conversation tomorrow, as he will be reflecting with us the year 2024 and ushering us into 2025 and beyond. So you don't want to miss the Civic Vibes program tomorrow, final program for the year as well. So you have been here with us all throughout the year, so you want to be part of the celebration, as it were, tomorrow from 6 p.m. indeed. In terms of some of your names, as I promise you guys in moving forward, let me just say good evening to Divine Flowers, you're watching. Natalie Soonwin, you're also there. Sandra Williams. Joel Francis says, blessed night, Lofty. Blessed night to you as well. My brother Dorival Drago, he says, representing President Brother Lofty. I hope you and your compatriots had an enjoyable Christmas. I'm locked in from North Carolina, USA, for tonight's session. Thank you indeed, Brother Drago, as well. We also have Magdalene Moses, Muriel Baptist. Muriel, good evening to you. Conrad Coffee, Carla Guy, Rosemary Flora, Edith John, Brother Dave Bertrand, Nazarene Prince, Ambitious Lynn Canoville, good evening to you. Rosemary Flora, Kathleen Charles, Judith Cochran, Francis Vidal, Mary Jo, good evening as well. Eddie Roy, Royston Francis, Naslin Dick, Julie Born to Win. Some very interesting names on social media. We have here Adeline Shillingford, good evening to you. Let me see who we have here. Gemma Daniel, Vernie Vache, yes, Vache, good evening to you. Bertil Birmingham, you're also there. Rosa Robinson says, Happy New Year to you and the family, Lofty. Same here, Rosa. We also have here Virginia Nicholas, you're listening. Edith John, Annette Monjuri, Paula Charles, Brother Norris Charles, good evening to you, my brother. Nice to have you on board, a man who worked for and on behalf of his country. and is now in what? Retirement mode, I should say, or you're still working, brother? We need to link up sometime, Brother Charles. Dana Philbert Peterson, good evening to you. Janice Felix Polo, good evening. Brother Ferdinand Lawrence, yes. Celia Douglas, Anthony Simon, Celia King, good evening to you. Owen Prosper, Leonard Augustine, David Jennifer Defoe, Rosie Mango, good evening to you. Martha Thomas Lawrence, John Baptist, Daphne Uzeb, Glenda Shillingford, Gemma Fontaine, Monique Telemark, good evening to you, Monique. We also have Pandude Bolo, I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Anthony Joseph, Strathmore Edward, sorry. Decima Timothy Myers, my good people up in the Mont Prosper area / the Valley, good evening to you. James Cam, Brother Dr. Thompson Fontaine, you're also there, good evening as well. Neville Menz, Mahalia Joseph, Stephanie John Baptist, Ivinia Joseph, Lisa Talima Romaine, yes, is Romaine, yes, Romaine. Annette Mondre, I think I called you already. Liney Andrew, Christmas St. John, Carol, Jules, Matthew, Irresistible Cordelia, Vincent Francis, Verilia Bruno, Alistair Irish, good evening. Petra Carbon George, Divine Flowers, Derek Joseph, Maggie, Dante, and the list goes on and on and on. Folks, it's a pleasure. If I did not call your name, don't hold me to heart for it, but we have to move on here in the interest of time. All I need to say is that those of you who are listening, Vincent Francis says Nevis is representing. Good evening to you from the Nevis and the region, those of you in the region as well. All right, folks, let us get things going here. You know how time flies when we have in these kind of conversations. We have to make a start at this time. In terms of the first item on the agenda, read the adjustment in timing for this program come 2025. That is next week, Saturday. Everything in life, folks, you have to sit down and, just do some reflection. Do some introspection as to what is good, what is bad, what's in between, how you can tweak in terms of bettering whatever you do as you move forward, and what better time it is as we steer down the closure of another year to look to see how we can make some adjustments. And what yours truly have decided to do is that this program is we are normally here from 6 to 8 every Saturday. But I decided to streamline an hour, take an hour from you guys. So come next Saturday, we'll be here from 6 to 7 p.m. Reason being, I think, as I look at the struggle on the ground in Dominica and where Dominica and Dominicans are at, I think that other hour from 7 to 8 could be served better, that is, in a much more productive mode, in terms of the engagement with the people on the ground, in terms of helping inspire, motivate, and yes, mobilize people for what is ahead. And so again, if you did not hear, come next Saturday, this program will be 1 hour from 6 to 7 p.m. each and every Saturday. The next hour, yours truly will be engaging some people in a community in and around the country. All right? I know that we have been doing well on this platform, but I think in terms of tweaking and just getting things much more sharply focused, I think that other hour from 7 to 8 will do better. It will be much more productive by being with the folks on the ground in Dominica in some way, shape, or form. So please take note, my people. Yeah. In terms of the carnival celebrations that is, as we speak, going on in St. Kitts and Nevis. Last night, as I told you guys, they had their Calypso competition. 8 competitors took part, and yes, 16 big songs came out of that competition last night. A brother by the surname of Druzy, he copped that coveted title last night in terms of being the Calypso King. So congratulations to him, indeed, for outshining the other competitors that was in that competition. And so brother King Druzy, they call him, I think he sang a song, wrong one. I think his song was, let me see, Peace and Pieces. And the second wrong, he sang a song entitled New Deal. So he basically, as I said, copped that crown last night, outdoing his other competitors indeed. So congratulations again to King Druzy out of St. Kitts and Nevis as it relates to that tight competition last night. What I noticed about that competition last night, there were a number of female competitors, and so those of you female competitors, congratulations to all of you. I know sometimes in life, you know, women or the female gender normally like to hold back themselves, hold back their potential, but that wasn't the situation last night. And trust me, the women there, they gave a good, very good showing of the talent, their skills, the energy that they brought to the stage. And so I want to compliment the women in particular who took part in that competition last night in St. Kitts and Nevis. But if you know Calypso very well, wherever you hear about Calypso, then there is some sort of controversy. Maybe in Dominica there's much more controversy, but last night they had its own sort of controversy last night in terms of the crown and where it went. And so a lot of people thought that a brother by the name of Big Lice, he should have crowned last night with two big songs, singing Leader of the Opposition in round number 2, and also the song that basically, you know, had everybody rocking in round 1 was a song entitled Things Are Not Well. At the end of the program, people, I'll be leaving you with that big song from King Lice, Brother Lice, Big Lice they call him. No disrespect to the king, King Druzy, but I really fell in love with Brother Lice last night in terms of his contribution to the art form in his country. What I believe, just me watching that show last night live on social media, I believe where King Druzy outshone Mr. Lice, Big Lice, is in terms of, and that is just my own interpretation of what I saw, is in terms of his rendition. Big Lice had a very good melody, I can tell you that. But in terms of the rendering of that song, I think that is where Mr. Drew outshone him last night. But I can tell you they were neck and neck. In terms of the judges' scorecard last night, King Druzy outshone him by 22 points. So I believe King Druzy got 830, I believe. And in first runner-up position, Big Lice came in with 808. And I think the second runner-up 7 something, and you know, the list goes on. But last night for sure, a crowd pleaser was Big Lice. He sang Leader of the Opposition in round 2. That too was another big song. A lot of people fell in love with it. But in round 1, I believe he topped round 1. But in round 2, I think that is where the king edged him out. Again, I am saying, based on what I saw, based on what I heard, based on me have a passion for Calypso, it's in his rendition. He has a very powerful voice, sharp clarity was right there, and so you could hear every word from King Druzy's contribution last night. But Big Lice was right up his tail. But at the end of the day, the judge's decision was and is indeed final. Indeed. All right. Also, too, what I want to tell us just before I move away from that is sometimes we cry down ourselves in Dominica, but when I looked at the Calypso competition last night in St. Kitts and Nevis, there are some things that we're doing in Dominica well. especially in terms of our Calypso competition. Time will not permit me to go into certain aspects tonight, but I just want to tell our Calypsonians in Dominica, continue to do good work. St. Kitts and Nevis had a good competition, but there were things in my mind that could be notched up a bit in terms of making that Calypso competition much more solid, so that the people's, the people there got their money's worth. But it is what it is. I guess that is a work in progress as well. But we in Dominica, we're doing some things well indeed. So guys, keep it up. Great job. And looking forward to our own competition. A matter of fact, the eliminations, I believe, starts January 11th, or should be on the way January 11th. So as soon as the Christmas season is over, the New Year starts, then we have the Calypso season on our chest, as it were, indeed. All right. So thank you guys for all the good work that you guys continue to put in that Calypso competition in Dominica, and continue to, as the good word says, gets better with time, like good old wine indeed. Let me just touch on, as we looking at the back end of 2024. 3 more days, yes, just about there. 2024, people had its own level of challenges. 2024 had its own level of success. And I am speaking now from my own personal standpoint, just before I go to, the country standpoint. And so every one of you who, made me laugh, made me glad, made me rejoice in 2024, I want to thank you for that. And I hope I, sort of reciprocated that kind of feeling. So I just want to take time off to thank you very much. Those of you who, had an ear where I am concerned in terms of listening, thank you very much. Because sometimes it's not just, sometimes it's just giving someone a listening ear. And so those of you who gave me that ear, thank you very, very much indeed. So yes, it was a year of, a very challenging year in more ways than one, but I want to thank the good Lord above for having me alive. And I think I am well in terms of health, and that is all I need. Good health, and the rest will be added. So thank you everyone who played your part in that journey, that very, very peculiar journey, I must say, in 2024 indeed. In terms of the successes, I had a few, and again, those of you celebrating with me, thank you very much. I do appreciate that indeed. And looking forward to a better 2025 as we look to tweak things and make things better in 2025 and beyond. In terms of country now, obviously 2024 had its own challenges for us as a country. Those of us who are at the front line of that struggle, of that battle, as it were, there's no need for me to, recap. All I want to say to us is keep on that pressure. We need to double up our efforts, as it were, in 2025. Those of us who could do more in 2024 but chose not to do more, I beseech you in 2025 for your country's sake, because trust me, people, there are some rough days ahead. I take a pause because I really want that part to sink in. Again, there are going to be some very rough days ahead, people, for us as Dominicans, especially for those of us who are on this land. And so there should be no doubt in our minds that we should be doing what needs to be done in terms of having that mindset all happens in the mind, people. There's a phrase that says, whatever your mind can achieve, whatever your mind can perceive, the body or you yourself can achieve. And so that's a mindset now I want us to take on. Because we need to envisage, put up there, have some kind of a vision about our country. We need to do that. There's a new mindset I am calling all of us, especially the patriotic ones, those who love this country dearly. There's a newness or a renewing of the mind that I would really want us to employ in 2025 and beyond. 2025 people, it's going to be a watershed year. It's going to be a year of real change. But if you and I are not in line to make that change happen, then we would have been missing that all-important mark. So yes, there are going to be some days, rough days ahead. But guess what? There's going to be a calm. But before that calm, we will have that very, very stormy time. And folks, I really want to appeal to us as a collective. We can do more for our country, people. We can do more for our country. There should be many more of us be prepared to make that sacrifice for country. Some of you, I will now be much more direct. Some of you are much too comfortable in your comfort zone, or seemingly comfort zone. And I say that without any reservation, people. Because I know some of you could be doing much more, but you are, quote unquote, good. You are well. You are satisfied with the status quo, and so you have not been ruffling any feathers to try to make things better for yourself and for your fellow men and women. And so you need to dig deep, people. You need to dig deep. You know yourselves much better than I do. Matter of fact, I don't know some of you. But I know, in terms of the posturing for country, much more can be done. And so if we want to see this country be dragged out from the mud, from the political cesspool in which it is now, we as a people, we need to do much more. And so I know this. They're all different lengths. And so I use that as a prime example of what I'm about to say. Some of you, we may not be adequately equipped to do certain things in terms of the struggle. So that's fine. But wherever you are equipped, you need to maximize your efforts. Wherever your talent is, wherever that God-given talent is, should be used for and on behalf of your people. And you know your talent. You know your skill. You know your strength. You know what you should have given more in 2024 for country. You know. So I'm just being very direct, very blunt with you. Do more. Because it is by your doing, my doing, our doing, as a collective, we're going to make it happen. Mr. Ray Boston, hey Lofty, please accept my friend request. Thanks. I will see to that at the end of the program, brother. Although I've reached that 5,000 limit way back when, but I will try to see what I can do in that regard. But thanks for the friend request. And let us hope we can speak positive things and do positive things for country. At least that is one of the terms and conditions for friend requests where I am concerned. So yes, folks, your skills, your talents, your strengths, that is what should be given much more of in defense for country. And just before I move ahead, I should have said that before. There were some of you that I lost in 2024. And like everything in life, some people come into your life for a reason and a season. And so if you're one of them, I want to thank you for the season and obviously the reason. And in looking forward, I hope that whatever it is that we have to bring to the table, we can bring to the Dominica's table with all earnesty. I know there are some very, for want of a better term, some very selfish people around. And so they will only bring if they're promised something. They will only bring if they are in line to get something. That posture, people, it has basically crippled our country. And we are seeing the effects right before our eyes. So I am helping us here understand where we are as a people. And I always sometimes give that example when I speak about us coming together as a unit. We don't necessarily, people, have to be in conformity where unity is concerned. The song that I always start this program with is a song from Lucky Dube entitled Guns and Roses. It's a very powerful number. If you haven't taken a listen, please do. Because a very powerful line in there says, we have to be united against being divided. Again, I want to repeat, a very powerful line in that track of Lucky Dube says, let us be united against being divided. And people, we have been divided as a people much too long. I want to repeat, because that is the reality. And I am a realist. I live in a real country. And so I'm not one to bury my head in the sand and think, well, when I put up my head, things will go away. No. We have been divided as a people for whatever reason or reasons for much too long. And so the majority of you guys out there that keep speaking about the country is not well. Like the final number I'll be playing from Big Lies. That is why I fell in love with this song. That is why it resonated. Because I heard from this guy singing about Dominica's predicament. And I know some of you got a bit, confused as to Mr. Drew, the Prime Minister, walking out, when that song was being played. I know there are different sides of the aisle in terms of what may have went on there. But just what I saw, my interpretation is that Mr. Drew to me was part of the presentation of Mr. Lice. That, I may be wrong, but that is what I got from the presentation last night. So it is what it is. But we're moving on. You will be seeing that in the final chapter of this program. To be united people, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to be in conformity. And that to me, it's a fundamental flaw where we have injured ourselves as a people. So when we speak about being united in Dominica, the pushback or the follow-up to that is, some people are thinking we must be in conformity. Now, conformity and unity is two different, separate, apart kettle of fish. And so there are many more things in Dominica that the masses, that is how we are referred to in the political context, the masses should be unified about and not necessarily be in conformity about. So if we as a people are saying things could be better, things should be better, then at least that already is a point of unification right there. And so you don't have to talk like me, you don't have to dress like me, you don't have to act like me in terms of your request / demand for a better Dominica. A matter of fact, you don't have to be like me. Once that is your mindset, you should be able to be unified now with me for that common cause for country. So it is not because some people may not be singing the same song like you in other aspects of their life that you know, conveniently so, should not be unified with them in one common purpose for country. And so if it's one mindset that we should eradicate from our mind in 2025, it is that old warped paranoia, I see, mindset, whereby because some people don't sing, I was going to say crew, but sing like you are in disagreement in a very perpetual manner, and so you just cannot come together as a people. Because some people doesn't necessarily support your party, you think that you cannot be in a united front with them for the betterment of country. And so we have found a way to divide ourselves in little groups, little subgroups, little sect, to keep us in that disunited mode. And so absolutely nothing or very little is achieved. So I am putting it to you. It is not just because someone is not supporting the same political ideologies that I subscribe to. And note, folks, I didn't say party. I'm no party man. I subscribe to political ideologies and philosophies that make sense in terms of country's welfare / people's betterment. So if the Dominican Labour Party, whatever is left of it or whatever they call this party now, has a philosophy that I can see with and can be in sync with for betterment of country, I don't see why I cannot be in unity with someone supporting that political ideology or philosophy to move this country forward. But sadly to say, there's not much. There's not much in terms of betterment of people and country that I can subscribe to as it relates to what passes for Labour Party. So that is why some people and myself supporting that, we may never see eye to eye. And so on that note, some people are supporting that, think that I am their, quote unquote, enemy. But no. And so I am prepared to say, people, anybody, any group, which will dovetail into a political party in terms of governance now, who is prepared to empower, not disempower, the people of Dominica. Once you are on that track, I will support you. I will add my voice. I will add my action to that cause, because I know your objective is about country, and it's from a, pure motive. But in Dominica, people, especially along the political partisan lines, we have been divided for much too long, people. Trust me on that. Some people go as far as being divided along the spiritual lines as well. So you're going to that church, you're going to that service, you're going to that whatever it is. I don't subscribe to that, so because of that, we have this rift between us. And as a result, what you stand for, I will go against it, because the predominant factor is your choice of worship. That as well needs to be eradicated, people. So these and others have beset us as a people in 2024. And so that is why I'm saying now, in 2025 and looking beyond that time, we need to do something about that, people. There's no two ways about it. Because the change that all of us yearn for, it begins with yourself. The change that I seek, it begins with me. And so if I'm not prepared to change something in terms of my operation with my fellow man for the betterment of country, then I may as well shut up. So some of you speak for betterment for country, but you are not prepared to do for betterment of country. And that is a contradiction by itself. And so that is why We are where we are because of some of us individual actions or inaction that when put together as a collective, then we are all over the place. You know the amount of people, when I go across the length and breadth of this country, that tell me, Lofty, things are rough. Things are tough. Lofty, I haven't eaten a meal, a nutritious meal for days. And I don't know where my next meal is coming from. Lofty, my child. Lofty, my sister. Lofty, my mother. Lofty, my grandmother. And the list goes on and on and on and on. And so that is a rallying call, a rallying cry, that we should all be coming around that common banner to effect some positive change in our country, which will spiral down now to our lives being better. And so on that note, I want to thank here now the people here and abroad who continue to assist me when I bring your cries in their ears. And you guys are willing to assist in one way, shape, or form. I hope that thing continue. So thank you guys on their behalf. Over the year, we have helped with food supplies. When I say we, mean the sponsor and myself. We have helped with food supplies, I said, yes. School materials, school uniforms, bags, books, just name it. And yes, some financial aid. These are not things that must be, broadcast and, I only broadcast certain things just to let my contributors see that it is going to a worthy cause. But as to who gets this help, much needed help, it's only between three people. The recipient, the giver, not necessarily even the person who gave, because some of these people don't want to know. The giver, myself, and the good Lord above. So we are not into the spectacle business. But people did get assistance from your benevolent deeds in 2024, and we look forward. As we speak, I have a number of stuff to give out. I just haven't found the time yet to go out in the community to give the stuff to people who are in need. And so if that, as I said, is one thing we can be united around people, that where we have been as a country, it is not where we would want to be in 2025. Trust me, that is the common denominator, at least that. We should be able to muster some strength and energy to synergize around and energize ourselves to propel forward. And whatever that has besetted us, we should be able to deal with that head on. Just take a check of the time, people. 6:58. So we are right on the money, 1 hour mark. So come next week, folks. That will be our time together. Short and sweet. But let us exploit another hour at least for the final time for 2024. There's much more I can say about that, people, but you know how time flies. So let us now get into Brother Narin's Murphy contribution in terms of he asking for some sort of accountability as it relates to a situation that has been ongoing on the ground, and he was part of it, and he's just asking for, better to be done in that department. Let me just see if I can pull that up, and we'll be getting Naris Murphy's contribution to tonight's program. I have a bit to say on it and then move on to the disempowering and empowering segment of governance in Dominica. Let's see if it's here. So, Mr. Nari Murphy, thank you very much, my brother, for your efforts. I want to publicly thank you because I know it is not an easy task to speak in Dominica. And so those of us who continue to speak, those of us who continue to sound the alarm, I want to ask us to keep it going. So Nari Murphy, sure, you're one, and I really appreciate your efforts towards humanity, my brother. So thank you. Let's take a listen now to Brother Nari Murphy on that point, and we will be switching gear in just a bit. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's blow up Naren. Bring up Naren volume. Where are you, Naren? Okay, yeah.
Who was badly burnt.
All right, let's
somewhere about the.
Let's start Naren from the top.
Guys, I'm going to try to be as brief as I can. I saw the Facebook post yesterday as it relates to an ongoing dispute between the parents of the young boy from Soufriere, that is Makai, who was badly burnt somewhere about the 9th or 10th of December. And it really caught my attention. I want to place on record that I've never known the parents of Makai before. As a matter of fact, I never knew of Makai before. But when the post was sent to me, it really touched me. And immediately, I want to make sure I capture the events correctly. I learned of it on the 10th and on the 11th. I didn't come and ask for money, I didn't come and ask for jewelry or gold or anything. I asked that we pray. We put our prayers together, we join our prayers together and pray for the family and this young man who was going through an ordeal. By the 12th, I would have asked for a little bit more than just prayers in terms of financial contribution. I would have also been in contact with the mother because when she saw I was asking for prayers for her child, she told me thank you. And from there, we developed a rapport and a communication. I have had communication with the mother only, that is Cassian Tavernier. That is who I have been in contact with, asking about the child and how is he progressing and whatnot. So when this whole thing started off, I was told by the mother they were given a rough idea of what it may cost in the French island. I think it was about 18,000 US. So a GoFundMe was set up. I did not ask by who or who did it at that point, but a GoFundMe was set up. And when I checked the GoFundMe, to be quite honest, guys, it wasn't really moving. I saw that GoFundMe at about 1,800 US, thereabout. So I decided, you know what? Looking at this child, looking at this predicament, I mean, his whole life is ahead of him. I decided, you know what? I'm going to lend my support. I'm going to call on people. I'm going to appeal. I have actually begged persons to support this child, support the GoFundMe. When I asked about a local account, the mother told me my account is not ready or it's not in order, but the father account is available. As far as I'm concerned, even for the people who were together, I took the information and I disseminated. Support the cause, support the GoFundMe, support the account at the NCCU. I even showed persons how, even if it's an NBD account with more banking, you could still get that payment into NCCU. And I keep pushing the GoFundMe. And guys, like it or not, I believe my influence on this encourage persons, encourage people to support in large numbers, where we saw 1,800 move to 18,000, and now that GoFundMe is just about a little over 20,000. And here we have some problems. Here we have some problems, and I'm not going to come here and point finger. There are certain demands I probably want to make. As one of the advocates, or I would say the leading advocate to the cause, to help restore this child's life. 55% of his body badly burnt, you know, as a young boy experimenting in the canoe, and it went sour, it went bad. You know, we're not going to blame him or blame the mother or blame anybody. Children will be children and things happen. It's just to learn. And guys, at this point, I'm not going to point any finger, but some of the things that I have seen, whether through screenshot, conversation between the mother side and the other side, some of them I started to wonder, what is the objective? Is the objective the child's healing and well-being, or is it something else? Another observation I had, I noticed the GoFundMe moved from 18,000 to 60,000. And persons were saying the cost has risen up, additional expenses and whatnot. I have asked the question, what documents are in place to substantiate the increase? That is 3 times the amount. You move from 18 to 60, that is over 3 times the amount. There should be a basis for that increase. I never got anything because the person I'm in contact with is the mother. She's not the one behind the GoFundMe. So I'm going to ask the people behind the GoFundMe, in as much as I use whatever little platform I have to motivate and entice people to support the cause, I want full accountability of the monies that was raised. Absolute accountability. This represents persons hard-earned money. People money, they probably have to work in cold weather. They probably have to have their knees on the ground, scrubbing floor. I want some accountability. I know in excess of 20,000 was raised. How was it disbursed? I believe the mother have tried to get information as to how much money was collected on the father's account before she could have set up an account. She has not been able to get information. I will say to you, young man, whatever money that was collected out of the goodness of people's heart for your child, it was for just that. For nothing else, just for that. And this is something that should be easy to just put forward and say, okay, prior to the incident, I held a balance of X. It is now at a certain level. This represents what was collected on behalf of my son. This is a thing that whether parents are together or not, this is something I would have expected bygones to be bygones. We put everything. I know the mother subsequently opened another account at the NBD and persons have supported. I have asked her at any given time, what have you collected? And she's very transparent, very open. She sends me screenshots and everything. But I'm asking, the bulk of money was collected on the GoFundMe. There is need for open transparency. Because I'm hearing about provisions being made for loss of employment income, loss of this, and apportionment. As far as I'm concerned, this should be the last and the least on people's mind. Any form of apportionment or loss of income. If my child or my children are in a predicament, it is not what income I would have lost. If I have to lose income being on my child's bedside, being there with him, so be it. I'm not going to calculate, and as a matter of how do you know how much loss of income you would have to collect from this? How did you come up? with the computation. But as I said, I'm not here pointing any fingers. I'm simply asking for transparency and accountability, because this is not money people decided to just give and donate for people to do as they please. These were monies that we beg, we make a plea, we appeal to persons' consciences to support this young man. Looking at him, I mean, it brought tears to my eyes every time I look at the pictures that the mother would send me, you know, to keep me in the loop. And to see the child has not even come out of that situation. As a matter of fact, he had a surgery to do, and that had to be postponed because he got an infection. The child is not even out of the woods, but you have this going on. I mean, the mother maybe reached a boiling point where she's asking questions and she's not getting responses, or maybe they are not to her satisfaction. I am not pointing any finger. All I am saying, an unfortunate situation arose. The child was badly burnt, 55%. The public, the world, I would say, was reached out to, made an appeal. People supported the cause, but people supported the cause towards the restoration of that child's life. I'm understanding the French government has decided that they will make the cost of whatever medical surgeries and what have you that has to be done. Yes, the mother may still have some additional expenses, living and otherwise, that has to be taken care of. But this situation there with this GoFundMe and you find pulling here and pulling there should not be any of that. That should be a clear thing. This is what we have collected, because we cannot go apportioning money. We do not know what is going to happen to that child. If he has to go back for follow-up medical services or care, what has to happen if he has to have special cream, special ointment, and what have you? We do not know. So those involved, I'm asking that you do what is right. I saw a Facebook page that tagged me. That is fine, I can be tagged morning, noon, and night. It's okay. I did this out of the goodness of my heart. I did not have to know the child. I did not have to go to school with the mother or the father or go warehouse with them or nothing like that. I saw a child in distress, and I said the least I can do is to appeal to the general public to support the cause, to help. But now I'm asking for absolute transparency. Absolute transparency on this matter. And that's all I have to say at this time. It warrants absolute transparency and accountability in the funds that were raised specifically towards the medical care of young Makai. That is what the funds were raised for. This was the primary objective. I'm not opposed to if some of the funds have to be used maybe for one of the parents to come up, maybe to help and assist and whatnot. All that is fine. But let us get it clear, because there are donors who are asking. There are persons who are asking for accountability of how their money was spent or is being spent. And this should not be a problem. They should be forthcoming. As a matter of fact, I expect a report to be sent to me within about 3 to 4 hours. That should be very simple. Amount received, amount disbursed, purpose, and amount. And we're moving down like that. Net balance. And that is how we have to go. That is how we have to go. That would have been so easy for me to do. I received all of this for one of my children. This is what we have spent. This is what is left. We are holding on to it because the child is not out of the woods as yet. Simple conversation. So no finger pointing. All we ask is for accountability. That's all. At the end of the day, young Makai is still fighting for his life. If these things, you can get infections, things can turn sour. We are hoping for the best. No, it's not the time to have this this tug of war over what? Money? There should be strict accountability. And I am asking for that. Because I went out there making a plea, begging, soliciting support to this child. I'm asking for accountability and nothing less. One love, Dominica. Makai Bellot, you will be back. You will return. You will not be playing with no car, no one does kind of thing again. You like your little fishing, I think you should still partake in that. Get into the fishing culture, you know, but have it done in a supervised manner and whatnot. You will be okay. Those involved in this calamity at this time, I ask that you stop and you think for a second. What was the primary objective of this GoFundMe, these accounts that were created, and let us just come clean, strict accountability. One love. I couldn't say it any less, or I could not add any more to what I have to say. It's a long message, but I know you will read it because it's a genuine message. Bless. Yeah.
All right, my brother Narin Murphy, I want to applaud you, brother. I want to thank you for the good work that you continue to do. First and foremost, based on the little expose that you did there, let me just empathize firstly with the brother, that is Mr. Makai, his name, Makai Bellot, I believe. I don't know Makai. I only heard about this situation. I don't know the mother, I don't know the father, I don't know anybody related to Makai in no way, shape, or form. But someone as a humanitarian, like I am, when I hear these stories, it touched me. And so having listened to Mr. Murthy this afternoon, I did some calls, I made some calls just to verify the veracity of what I was hearing, and decided to just give it that extra leg, or legs as it were, as Narin Murphy is, and rightfully so, calling for complete transparency and accountability. Really a very touching situation as it relates to a young boy that Narin said, repeated words now, 3rd-degree burns. He is now in France, I believe, undergoing treatment, and a GoFundMe was set up in his name. So all money is deposited, read his GoFundMe. It is the son's, the child's money. And so whoever is in charge of it, you are just the conduit to make it happen for young Makai. And I don't want to add more to what Brother Murphy said. I cannot say it better than him, but just to echo that call, that whoever it is, you know, hanky-panky, as it were, with those funds, please have some conscience, have a conscience, and know fully well that those monies should be going directly to the medical care, treatment, even post-treatment, as Narin alluded to, of that child. I don't want to say much more on that, but that is just my bit on that. And finally, what I want to say is that is how things get muddy, things get messed up. So here it is. Today is Makai's turn, tomorrow it may be yours, your child. And your child may be in a much more precarious situation. Maybe to even a life-threatening situation. And you may want help through that mode of raising funds. And because of that situation being messed up, where accountability is not high up on the agenda, some persons out there may not be willing to give. And so it has this very crippling effect now of reverberating, maybe to you, watching at this time. So whatever you can do, please lift your voice as well in condemning that situation and asking for complete and total accountability / transparency in this matter. Today is Mackay. Tomorrow, it may be you or someone very, very close to you. Let me hear what some of you guys have to say. I've been speaking for some time, and then we switch gear into, we turn it up a bit, where government of empowerment and government of disempowerment is concerned, and I'm going to give you 2 living examples of my utterances, and we wind it down for 2024 in just a bit. Duvini says, everything is upside down in this Dominica. I can support chances. Sorry, let me take that again. Everything is upside down in Dominica. I used to support chances, and I stopped after that scandal. Not a shit happened. I'm done. Didi Easter says, this misappropriation of monies raised through a GoFundMe is the reason why many are reluctant to contribute to the cause. Thank you, Didi Easter, for echoing that sentiment that I just said a while ago. Irene Grano says, now, sorry folks, let me just punch a power supply on this thing here, as my other set just told me 5%. Yeah, we're good. Irene Grano says, now they're making things harder for others. That's so crazy. I agree. Chiquito Thomas says, keep up the good work for the people, my brother. Job well done. Jasid Leroy James says, this is so sad that the people do what they did from their hearts and people messing. I want to think that's what you want to say. You have your people missing around, but I want to think is messing around. Let me see here. Any more comments? Didi Easter comes back and writes, justice may be delayed or deferred, but we must never give up hope indeed. So yes, folks, these are all the comments that time will allow me to read here on that piece as it relates to Mackay and his situation. Again, Nari Murthy, thank you much, brother, for the good work. And may the good Lord continue to bless your efforts, your arduous efforts, I must say, your hard work in that regard. Because a lot of people think when people like Narin, other people, myself, come on social media, well, I can speak for myself. I don't just speak of my head. There's a lot of planning, a lot of preparation, a lot of research, a lot of fact-checking of certain situations that go into before I go live. And I want to thank other people as well. So it is not just a wash your foot and come thing. So yes, it is hard work. Because I may be telling you one thing now, or some things now, and I may be the best thing. But I may just tell you one thing in terms of a slip, or one thing that is not fact-checked, and here it is, that's it, boom. With the amount of this and misinformation going around, you really don't know who to trust, especially not just mainline media, but social media. There's everything going around. So you really have to come good. Again, Naren, thank you very much indeed. All right, folks, let's get now into the final real segment of our program, whereby I told you earlier that whatever is now calling themselves the Dominica Labour Party, that is what is on the books in Dominica, so I'll stick to that for conversation's sake. That government, they has been in a mode of keeping Dominicans poor. And that is straight-faced talk. And I will not just talk to you by not giving you the evidence of what I'm talking about, because that is who that is who I am. What passes for Dominica Labour Party today, under the leadership, the stewardship of Roosevelt Skerritt, they are keeping the Dominicans poor, in a state of poverty. Except for those who are sucking from the crumbs of this political table, like the sycophants, the boom boom flies, the spin doctors, those who think that they are benefiting from that kind of regime. So unless you're not singing a particular song, you will be left in a state of poverty. And just to emphasize what I'm saying, some of those who think they are benefiting, they are merely getting the crumbs from what Dominica is offering. So I usually use this analogy whereby your family may be the owner of a bakery. And rightfully so, you should not just be getting the crumbs from that bakery, but you should be an investor in that bakery. You should be getting dividends from that business, if you understand that lingo, to compare. So Dominica as a country, we all should have a stake in this country. So we should all be drawing down from this country. In that, we call ourselves the Commonwealth. And that should stand for something. So there's a wealth in the country that should be shared among the common people. That is my interpretation of the Commonwealth. But when some people will be so greedy, so selfish, that they will take more than their share, then we are where we are. So when a man who sits in the chair as Prime Minister, his name is Roosevelt Skerry, will be for years now on the people's back, the people's hard-earned money, will be living in a mansion at Mount Daniel in the tune of 70,000 EC dollars a month on the backs of the poor and struggling people, where he, it is said by his own utterances, has many more options that he could have by now relieved the Dominican people of that burden, that financial burden. But no, like all greedy leaders, his MO is to suck the lifeblood out of a people. And he's doing that in more ways than one. And some of his aides, some of the people who facilitate that kind of avaricistic lifestyle, they are no different. And let me just put you on note, people. 2024, my very first program for 2024, it's already in here. And I will be dealing squarely with a certain set of people in Dominica to the best of my ability as it relates to the predicament in where we are and what needs to be done. And so the men of the cloth, the people who call themselves Christians, the people who go to church, the people who praise Yahweh and Jehovah God and Jesus Christ and how you call him, you guys, next week Saturday, be prepared. Because some of you are the functionaries that have this country where it's at. So you'll be in for some Wood next Saturday. First stop for the year. We start there. So let's get back. You had the man who is now sitting down in the Ministry of Finance. I call it a poisoned chalice situation that was handed to him. Mr. Irving McIntyre signing a document whereby he said he authorized a portion of money to go towards a vehicle to carry Roosevelt Skerritt's children. McIntyre signed it. His signature is there on the document. And when that document was leaked, and on that note, 2025 people, we need a lot more whistleblowers in people who are in high position. Some of you did it in 2024. I bow to you. But we need more in 2025. We need more whistleblowers to basically expose the nastiness, the corruption that goes on in these high places, so that the Dominican people will know and will act accordingly in due time. So it was only when that document was leaked in the public by a whistleblower, Roosevelt Skerritt turned it on its head like he normally does and said he was not in the know of that. He did not approve that. He did not have anything to do with that. And so Mr. McIntyre, I'm being told, had now to put his tail between his legs like Ian Douglas and Caressa sang in song sometime back, and basically revoke that letter, rescind that letter. So that is the type of people that you're dealing with in terms of what I said before. A bunch of people always seeking ways to keep the masses poor. I am very well connected in the region, people. Thank God for that. And so whatever is happening in Dominica, I can call people in the region, the space in which we live, and do some comparison. And none, absolutely none, of these leaders in the region have ever thought of going down that road by having the public pay for transportation in terms of a vehicle for the children of any prime minister in the region. And so what we are witnessing here, it is corruption on steroids in Dominica. Straight up. And if it wasn't a whistleblower that punched it out there, all now, a Christmas gift would be given to Roosevelt Skerritt's children by having them be transported to school on the taxpayers' back. Now, things in life always have a certain way of panning out. And so if you have a government that is very corrupt, like the one we have in Dominica, don't expect your people to be living their dream life at all. No. So if you're falling, gravity will pull you down. So don't expect to be in this descending mode and be ascending in the same time. It cannot happen. That is anti-nature. And so don't expect a very corrupt bunch like what we have had for a number of years now and still on our backs to be doing anything good where the people now is concerned. Case in point, let me draw you home now. You have this facade whereby the government of the day say that they're giving people free homes in Dominica. Folks, there's nothing free in life. Absolutely nothing. The air that you breathe, it is not free. Far less for a government or some people giving you a house, a home, a place to stay. That is certainly not free. That is a gimmick. That is a facade. That is a falsehood. That is a lie. These houses, these homes, they have been doctored in a way to keep these occupants or occupiers in a perpetual state of poverty. I want to repeat that. This giving of these freebies, as it were, ham, turkey, goodies, whatever it is, they are doctored or tailored in a way to keep you in a state of P-O-V-E-R-T-Y. Nothing else. When a people let me just show you something there, people, to drive home a point. When a people are living in a home, and the type of home that you are living in I'm coming to you guys. I'm just getting a pick or two for you there to drive home that point. This thing is taking a little time to load. Okay, good. Right. When a people are given, they're given a home to stay, and you as that home owner don't have a clue as to when you will be getting your title. That piece of document that you can one day call that thing your home and be entitled to it with a legal document, I am telling you, it is a state to keep you in poverty. So Roosevelt, Skerritt and crew came up with a plan, again, to deceive the Dominican people by giving them a home. And should I add, a very poorly constructed home in the large measure. Go look at these homes, people. Go look at them yourself. Let your relatives who are in there as occupiers tell you about the hell that they're going through. When it rains, they have to be punching a pan there, punching a bucket there, because these homes are not adequate in terms of workmanship. Very poor. And I've been in a number of them, so I can tell you firsthand. On top of that, you are living in hell, and you are not given room to extend your borders in the future. So you just know you're living. As a matter of fact, you're existing. You're not living, because living has a certain connotation to it. You're existing. You're just there. You sleep, you get up, you sleep, you get up, but that area will never ever be yours. And that, I am telling you people, at least for that instant, is a situation where your government is keeping you poor by design. So you will never own that place where you reside. You will never be satisfied to say, yes, I have earned something in life, and so I feel like a man, I feel like a woman. Do you know what it is, people? To own your home. When you finally finish pay off that financial institution and they tell you, Mr. So-and-so, come check us for your documents. We are done with you. A weight is lifted off your shoulder. That is cause for celebration. But those of you in that kind of setup, that celebration, you will never realize that celebration. They say a picture tells 1,000 words. Look. You see this setup, people? See this setup here? I had the opportunity to visit Layu. Maybe 2 weeks ago. Yes, 2 weeks ago. And you see that setup? That is a home that was given by a government. And when it is good, I say it is good. That is a home that was given to the people of Layu under the United Workers' Party government. The United Workers' Party government gave these people that upstairs. Upstairs here. Jikla. And the people, they had the opportunity to build their downstairs. They had the opportunity to do some planting around their yard. You've seen bananas, you've seen whatever that there. Cane or whatever is it that there. But room for improvement. As I told you guys, I'm not a party man. But when it is good, you have to say it is good. So way back when, another government under Edison James had the vision, had what it takes to empower the people of Dominica by giving them homes and setting up a scheme that they could earn a title, earn that legal document in the future. So right about now, I'm being told the majority of these people in the Layu area, the Layu scheme, housing scheme area, they are now in possession of their title. So they can send a child to school, they can buy a vehicle, they can extend the house, they can go for vacation, they can do whatever it is because that is now theirs. They work hard, they pay back. Unlike what we have today, we have some structures around Dominica whereby the government said they are giving people homes and houses. And not in their lifetime, the occupiers will be able to earn a title so that they can be proud homeowners. And so, folks, that is one example of a government that is constantly engaged in disempowering its people. Unlike that structure that you're seeing there now, that was a government that empowered its people. And so when I spoke about disempowering and empowering, that is a clear and living testimony / evidence of two different types of governance. One, empowered, and one is disempowering. If you talk to the people in these homes and they are very genuine to you, what was given to them on the labor, you will hear the grief, you will hear the pain in their heart. Some of them know they're just existing. They're not living. On the contrary, talk to some of these homeowners. So that is one. That is one, people. Let me see if I can pull up at least 2 other pics for you so you can get a better example of what I'm talking about. Here it is. You see that here, people? That is a home in Layu, another home. Here it is. This person has clearly constructed their downstairs. They were only given the top. But because they have title in hand, they can now do that. They can now expand. Look at the yard, the surrounding yard. It is not a palatial mansion, but it is something comfortable enough that somebody can say, okay, let me do something for myself. Here it is. Here it is, people. Here's his homes. You see these homes? Perched on the hill. All of them. So you can blow that up so you can see a little better. All of them. That's the first one I showed you. Right here. This one up here. If you can see clearly, just above that roof, that person has blocked up the downstairs. Up there. They only got the top. Up here, look, blocks in the downstairs. All his house, all his homes, at least, look, that person has a perfect downstairs. And they have title in hand. All of them. So when I tell you people about a government that is bent on disempowering its people, it is what we have to do. Compare and contrast that to a government of the past that helped the people in terms of much room for development and a process for ownership. I need not say more, people. We have 13 minutes left and we must wind down in just a bit. Let me speak to some of you now in terms of what has been a trend in Dominica for some time, where the good old Christmas season that is upon us now is concerned, where again this regime is concerned. This regime has found a way to disempower its people by deceptively so, in a very clandestine way, to be seemingly providing for children and the elderly at Christmas with ham, with turkey, with goodies, whatever it is. You saw it. Melissa, the wife of Roosevelt, set up this thing in the botanical gardens, Christmas village, whatever it is. A lot of lights. You know what lights do, people? Lights dazzle, especially at Christmas time. Lights have a way of, if you're not focused, it will take you off focus. Try watching a light bulb for too long and you will see what it will do to your vision. And so with this dazzle, that is what this government has been doing. They have been able to have people be so unfocused because of the dazzle and the glare and the glimmer. The glares. So no longer can a family, a father, a mother provide for their child or children at Christmas time, and they will feel that they have been so empowered to do so financially and otherwise. They now have to rely on the good deeds of Roosevelt and Co. to provide for them. And that again, apart from the homes and the houses that are on that trajectory in terms of deception, that again is another trend, a deceptive trend that we have been seeing engulfing Dominicans every year. Dominicans, let me ask you a very direct question. When last did you, those who rely on that ham and the turkey, when last were you able to push your hand in your pockets, go to your savings, and buy for yourself at Christmas? When last? No, I'm not talking about the greedy set, because there are those who are receiving hams and turkeys and whatever it is that can buy for themselves and their family / relatives. But they're so greedy, they will take 2 and 3 and store it in their freezers, store it in their fridge when they can afford to buy. I'm not talking to these set of people. These set of people is another conversation by itself. I am talking about the ordinary man and woman now who really and truly have to rely on the, should I say, goodness in a very deceptive way of their pal reps to bring across to them by night a ham or a bag of whatever it is to keep them in a state of poverty. So when last, you people I'm talking to now, were you so empowered to do just that for your family? Can you guys remember the joy that it brought about in the hearts of children when the mothers, the fathers, the uncles, the brothers, whoever it is, gave them at Christmas time their little shopping money? They went to town, window shopping, they buy the toy guns, whatever it is, and things were nice. But today, for your child to get a toy, he has to be, or his relatives or family have to be singing from a political hymn sheet so that the child could benefit. And so whilst Melissa is taking care of the children, Roosevelt is taking care of the elderlies, and the adults, they are left in the center in limbo and cannot afford to give either, nor their children, nor their parents. And some of the adults now, they are left to glorify those deeds. Oh, I cannot afford, they're getting from the pal rep. Thank you, pal rep. Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you this, thank you that. For a ham. For a toy for your child. For lights. Dominicans, this year, we had a blackout in Dominica. A blackout. People couldn't put lights. All the lighting was in the botanical gardens. And if you guys don't put a stop to this madness, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And so these are just two. I want to keep a check of the time. These are just two vivid, living examples I want to leave with you as we bring 2024 to a close in terms of the disempowerment of a people. In the housing sector, whereby, if you check it out, 99% of these homeowners, they either have to publicly or privately swear to Labour Party to get a house or to be in a house. And the developing trend now is that For you to benefit at Christmas time, at Carnival time, any holiday time, you have to be kissing the posterior of a politician so that you can go by. Dominicans, we have known better. We did better. And we should expect better. The power is within our hands. And so that is how I want to leave us this evening. Let us hold people in respectable positions accountable. Or even better yet, get them out of the way so that your sanity can be realized once more. Dominicans, there's a dream. The same way America, when we speak about the mighty America and thriving countries, the people of this country, the citizens, the leadership of this country in terms of policy now, they set it up around the people having a dream. We too, we also have dreams. We have aspirations. But if we cannot realize those dreams in our beloved country, then it is only our responsibility to make that happen. And so if some people have been shutting you off that aspiration of yours, you want to be this, you want to be that, you want to reach a goal in that certain age, and you are seeing that is not happening. It has not happened. It will not happen. The power is in your hands. So yes, let us dream big. Because for life to worth living, certain dreams and aspirations must be a reality. Thank you, Dominicans, those of you here, those of you abroad. Thank you very much for your eyes and ears. I cannot go through the comments, but it is what it is. So when I see you again on that platform, on that program, it will be 2025. So I wish you guys a prosperous 2025, knowing fully well the challenges ahead. They are great, but we banding and binding together, we can move mountains indeed. Let us start to be mountain movers, as it were, for the sake of our country. Finally, on the Civic Vibes program tomorrow, we'll be hearing from a brother who lives in Canada, but he's from Antigua and Barbuda. His name is none other than Mr. Akil Jabari. He will be coming to have a candid, a very personal discussion with us tomorrow. That is where his expertise is at. A motivational speaker and alike. And so I ask you to tune in tomorrow from 6 o'clock on the Civic Vibes program, where we'll be welcoming Mr. Akil Jabari, and he will be talking to us about 2024 as a Dominican, as a Caribbean person, and as a person of the world. It's a global village, and trying to now give us that impetus that we need to usher in 2025 and beyond. So thank you. See you then. I wish you guys all the best, and hope that we can continue to do it together as a people. As promised, Dominicans, I'm going to leave you with that track that I fell in love with, from St. Kitts and Nevis. They had this program, this Calypso finals last night, and I think brother by the name of Big Lives. Yes, he sort of, his songs resonated with me. So let us do this number from Big Lives and we will be out of here. So Dominican, thank you very much for your eyes and ears each and every time. Let's take in Big Lives and we'll be out. He entitled that song Things Are Not Well. All right, let's take a listen. Once that song is done and dusted,